The Cartoon Guide to Genetics. Part 2. The combination of science and magic is nicely illustrated by this Bible story. Genesis chapter 30, or the case of Jacob's flock. In this story, the patriarch Jacob agrees to tend the flock of his father-in-law Laban. As payment, Jacob may take all the speckled and spotted animals for himself, and Laban keeps the pure black ones. The two groups are not to interbreed. The Bible describes Jacob's fertility magic carefully. He stripped the bark from willow rods, and made the white appear which was in the rods, then set them near the watering hole. The idea behind Jacob's actions is that like begets like. By showing the white and the willow rods, he was trying to bring out the white and the Laban's black animals. This is called sympathetic magic. Genetically speaking, the point is this: in fact, the pure black animals bore speckled offspring, and so Jacob's flock increased. Why? We will come back to this later. Here we see accurate genetic observation side by side, with a near total lack of understanding. Laban certainly did not get it. Some other genetic items from ancient history. The Chinese discovered the waltzing mice, a mutation which causes the animal stagger around in circles. The Hindus observed that certain diseases may run in the family. Moreover, they came to believe that children inherit all their parents' characteristics. A man of base descents can never escape from his origins. Say the laws of Manu. Xenophon, a Greek, had to say about breeding hounds. Several other Greeks, thinking more deeply than Xenophon, developed the first real theories of heredity. In other words, they addressed the question, why do children resemble their parents? Actually, one philosopher, Socrates, wondered why they sometimes don't. He used to say that, the sons of great statesmen were usually lazy, and good for nothing. We should always bear this in mind, that not every quality inherited. Unfortunately, by such unflinching honesty, Socrates provoked the Athenians to put him to death. The most coherent Greek theory of heredity was that, the famous doctor Hippocrates. Hippocrates recognized that, the male contribution to a child's heredity is carried in the semen. By analogy, he assumed there was a similar fluid in woman. These fluids, he reasoned, were made throughout the body, and then collected in the reproductive organs. The semen from the fingers had the material to make more fingers, that from the hair made hair, etc. At conception, a sort of battle of fluids take place, and whether the child's hands were more like the mom's or dad's, depended on whose finger semen won out. Unfortunately, the Greek whose ideas most influenced later generations, was not Hippocrates, but Aristotle. When it came to science, Aristotle never let his ignorance stand in the way of his theories. Aristotle, called the peripatetic because he paced while he lectured, believed that all inheritance came from the father. He said, the male semen determined the baby's form, while the mother merely provided the material, from which the baby was made. Yes, there was no getting around it. This seemed to imply that all children ought to be boys. Who knows? Maybe this revealed some subconscious wish of Aristotle's. The ancient Greeks did value boys more highly than girls. But the philosopher could hardly ignore the existence of female babies. He patched his theory by they were caused by inheritance, from the mother's blood. A fine theory. Except that it doesn't account for children, who differ from both parents. Brown-eyed people often have blue-eyed babies, and don't forget Jacob's speckled goats. One philosopher, Empedocles, thought this might result from the mother's gazing longingly at statues during pregnancy. Greek civilization may have perished, but science marches on.